Hello and welcome to the show. I'm carrying on the Project Cars career mode after an eventful trip to Snetterton with the AIs. They pushed me hard on the final couple of races. I did take my first victory in this championship, and I was hoping I could continue this performance on into the next round at Silverstone. Amazingly, I managed to qualify on pole, and this did surprise me, considering I'd been struggling in practice, and certainly the AI cars had been running into the very high 14s. So somehow I managed to get perhaps a little bit lucky to get myself onto pole position, and amazingly, Matt did very well here as well. He got himself into 10th place. So yeah, one of the most successful qualifying session Valor Racing have had. Off the start line, I also managed to get a much better getaway than I have been doing before. It was sort of just about neck and neck as we came into turn 1. With the grey and yellow car eventually deciding he didn't quite fancy that, as there was somebody across the grass. Yeah, the grey car, he thought about trying to get a pass done, couldn't quite do it. Matt had a good start as well, getting a couple of cars through these first couple of corners, and I was leading the way as we came onto the back straight, and still Matt continued with his little battles. Now, as I said, I knew I didn't quite have the speed that I had at previous rounds, so I was expecting to come under a little bit of trouble as the mighty Clio train fires its way down the back straight again. Further back, there was some shuffling about of positions. Yeah, it was that particular corner there that I was struggling to get any speed around. Fortunately, the vehicles were just a little bit too far back to try anything. They were kind of close enough for me to be a nuisance to them. And yeah, I could kind of slow them down through that turn enough that I could get away by the time we came to the final corner. As one car a little bit off in the background, going the very long way around. That's not quite where you want to be. Don't quite want to be that far out. Around that particular corners. Again, the curbs were fairly nasty in a couple of places, not quite as bad as they had been at Snetterton. Wasn't quite having as much two-wheeled action around here, but still had to be on the careful side. And in these early laps, I was managing to hold on to the lead, which was surprising me. I was managing to just about keep ahead and just about be fast enough in certain places that they couldn't quite get an overtake done. This time it's the white and green car that is sort of having a look. The AIs like to have a very big dive into this corner here. I was having to be careful, making sure to go defensive, and you see there, by going defensive, I really slowed the green car down, who kind of panicked and ran out of space, and that in turn slowed the vehicles around him, which means that I could then build this gap up. So by the time the next lap we came around here, I had a little bit of a safety cushion to the vehicles behind. This lap, though, things went a little bit wrong. I got a little bit of a slide through the corner, just pushed the car a bit too hard, and yeah, may have left the door open a little bit on that one. I thought I was far enough ahead. I was not, and sure enough, the green car fired up the inside as the red vehicles off on the. They're liking that wide line through there as they sort of get out of jail free area. Yeah, I had held the lead for a while. I wasn't massively surprised to see me drop back to second as I have a big moment into turn 1. I was pushing through here. I was hoping that if I could get close enough, I could have a lunge and maybe sort of get the position back and slow the cars down, and I couldn't do it. I wasn't really close enough, and in attempting that, I had now slowed myself down a little bit. The grey car is there having a sniff, and I locked a brake on the way into that car. Actually, it looks more downhill from that camera angle than it feels when you're driving it. Yeah, just a little lock up under braking, and the grey car snuck past. I am sat in the slipstream all the way down the long straight, but I'm not very good under braking. I was really struggling getting this corner right here. I just couldn't quite get the braking, and in running a little bit wide, promptly dropped another position. It wasn't my best of laps, I will be honest. It wasn't my my finest hour on this one. I think I clipped the curb on the inside, put me on two wheels, put me out a little bit wide, but the yellow car couldn't quite make it stick around the outside. He's then on two wheels across the outside curb. Another grey vehicle. Everybody's in the runoff area at the final. That's one place I didn't go exploring too many times. The runoff area at turn 1 I explored, but the final turn, nope, I didn't go off there. The grey vehicle surprised the crap out of me through that one. Didn't realise he'd tried to stick it all the way around the outside, and yeah, he may have had some wheels on the grass to make that manoeuvre stick, but he got the pass again. I was just dropping like a stone at this point. I just didn't quite have the speed around this circuit. I couldn't quite hold on, and yeah, after having defended the lead for the first half a race, things were going wrong. And as you can see in the background, Matt was catching up as well. Ran wide, which is no, that doesn't help. I'm already slow around that corner. I didn't need to be running wide. Tried to get defensive. I couldn't actually get my car quite across enough. The white vehicle there fired his Clio up the inside. I couldn't quite stop it. There's another one escaping around that final corner. And yeah, as the race progressed, I think this was on to the final lap now. Again, I was trying to carry too much speed. I was trying to be braver and not got it right. Just ran a little bit too wide, and yet again, it's a fairly simple pass for the yellow car to make up the position. And they got my teammate right behind me, who gets it on. Gets it on two wheels as well, but as I said, it was the final lap of the race. I could well have slipped down even further had that not race ended. I was very glad it was the final lap of the race. I struggled in race 1, slipping all the way down to 7th place, my worst finish of, well, the entire Clio Cup, while it was Matt's best finish, getting his car up into the 8th place. But the good news for me, at least, is that the drivers at the top, it's all a bit mixed up, so I extend my lead of the championship. I was scrolling down to see, well, Matt's still in 19th. He's got a little bit closer to the vehicles in front, which is good for him. But yeah, my lead at the top, despite having an abysmal race, would continue to extend. Race number 2, I'm still not quite figured out how the grids are sorted for race number 2. I found myself in 5th on the grid, my lowest starting position so far. The vehicle ahead got an incredibly terrible start. I ended up getting a little bit boxed in. Didn't really have anywhere to go through there. Car ahead is a big two-wheel moment. A couple of vehicles behind, I think Matt included, that were getting their cars onto a huge dive from one of the white cars there. As we all me and someone else get pushed out a little bit wide, I keep my foot down even though we're kicking up some grass, and I return the favour to the white Clio. He does keep it on the inside though through this next corner, and there's nothing I can really do at this stage. And I'm now starting to worry a little bit coming up to one of my weaker corners. I am sat in the slipstream, as this is just the longest longest train of cars. It certainly beats the touring car train we had on Forza 5. I was sort of having a look around the back of the car. I didn't really want to try and make an overtake because I wasn't feeling at all comfortable into that corner, so I was happy just to take sort of my normal racing line, if you like. It was a little bit out wider than ideal, but we all made it around the corner. I didn't slip further back. That was the important thing here. I hadn't slipped any further back after losing a couple of places, I think, on that first lap. And now I'm lining up to see if I can start making progress. See if I can start making up some positions through these first quarter, get very close to the bumper of the car ahead, try to get it to the inside. I just get the vehicle bouncing on the curb, puts me on two wheels, and I do give the white car a little bit of a tap. Yeah, I'm just a little bit too far back to really try anything into this corner. I'm trying every different line I can, taking a little bit of a wider exit again, getting a wheel on the dirt. We're all about trying to get a good run onto the straight. The car ahead was going quite defensively, slowed me down a little bit, but he goes out wide on the exit, puts a wheel on the grass. So now it's side by side down this back straight, and I find myself on the inside, as it's still just a mighty Clio trailer. Oh, apart from me, everybody all in line. Just about to see Matt in the background. I get my car to the inside, and for the first time this entire race weekend, if you like, I actually got an overtake. That was the first overtake I had at the Silverstone race, and it was at the toughest corner of them all. Certainly the corner that I struggle with the most for getting any speed around, and I can fend him off even if I do get it a little bit wide. My turn this time round to take a little exploratory trip out a bit wide around that final turn. I got a little bit wrong. I think it was on the curbs or whatever. Either way, just pushed it a tiny bit too hard. Now, the thing to remember about the second races here, we have got a mandatory pit stop that I was going to have to be taking at some point. You may have seen on, I think it was lap 2, the last lap I showed you, saw a few cars diving off into the pits. I was actually doing pretty well. I had much better pace in race 2. I'd got the hang of things a bit better and was catching up to this group of cars when I decided now would probably be a good time. Dive in the pits so that I'm not wasting too much time sort of fighting with cars, since I have got that. I got a little bit of pace all of a sudden. Don't quite know how I found it, but I did manage to get some speed out of the Clio, and we would have more pit lane disasters. So far, 3 races with pit stops, 3 problems. It was another jammed wheel gun that would scupper my race a little bit here. We had the jammed wheel at Donington. We had the problem with just lots of traffic coming in at Snetterton. But yeah, having a wheel stuck, that is not what you want particularly. I was a little bit disappointed. Again, we were on for a better performance certainly in this race too. I'm definitely going to have a talk with the mechanics. I think we need some new equipment. I'll pay for some new equipment so that we don't have this problem again. And sure enough, I mean, it cost me. It dropped me back through the field. I think the grey car, the grey and yellow car you see going through shot there, that was leading at the time that I came into the pits, I think he may well have had a problem in his pit stop as well. You can see he's dropped well back through the field. It's about the same distance between me and him, so I'm guessing that he had a similar problem. The vehicles up ahead were all fighting for position, and I was keen to join in the fun down here. The white and orange vehicle, a little bit slow off the turn towards the back straight. I get my car up the inside. Again, it's the massive Clio, a little bit, admittedly, sorry, a little bit more spread out this time, but still a huge Clio train. I'm on the inside again, trying to be brave around the corner that I'd struggled with all day. I was starting to get it a little bit better. There was less locking up and less running wide from me. I had got the position, but I was going to have to go defensive, the orange car, thinking about trying to make it stick all the way around the outside. He couldn't do it. Gave him space. I wasn't quite sure where he was going to go through that corner. The AIs take a really big dive into that final chicane. I tend to be a lot tighter on the first part of the corner, so I'll be quicker off it, whereas they tend to be a lot more aggressive. As I was pushing as hard as I could to try and catch up to this group ahead, I was just running out of laps. There just wasn't enough laps for me to catch this group. It was a fairly sizable group that was squabbling for positions over here, and I got incredibly fortunate when it was looking as if there was nothing I could do. The orangey yellowy car up ahead had a look, tried to get past, and kind of slowed both of them down coming to this back straight, and I saw my opportunity to yet again get my vehicle up the inside as we run into this scary corner for me. This time I get the move stopped. We had no bumping mid-corner. I may have had a wheel a little bit on the grass. Just got to be a tad careful with that one. Not really an ideal line. Again, the AI going for the around the outside manoeuvre, give him just about enough space on the inside. Broke down with a little bit more, get a slight tag, but he's ended up taking such a tight line that there's not a huge amount of speed you can carry through there, so it's very difficult to make that overtake stick, which means that I would end up finishing in 8th place. Little bit disappointing. I was definitely on for a higher result. I was hoping, at least, having found a bit of speed. Matt didn't have such a good race in this second one, falling to 16th place. He used up all of his skill in race 1. Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed not to have fared better. The overall results, well, it was a fairly mixed up podium between the two, or relatively mixed up between the two races. No fastest laps for me. Qualifying, I somehow got it onto pole. I did manage to get into the high 114s though, come the second race, which I was pleased about. Which means that the championship, well, I haven't really extended my lead at the top any, but I do still lead the Clio Cup as we leave Silverstone. Matt has dropped to the back of the field, but he's not that far off the cars in front. Yeah, a slightly disappointing day, but to still be leading the championship after all of that, can't really complain too much. Anyway, that is it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.